have a mask on, so just
And you can do Asuka, where you have green mist coming out of your eyes and your mouth.
Guys, but this isn't that. It's Burn After Watching. This isn't our.
This isn't my usual wear.
This isn't the Penis Riddles podcast, guys. This is Burn After Watching. It's not. Still funny, guys.
It's not American Pickle. It's not.
It's not
American review of American Pickle.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying all for that. It looks fun. It is the Burn After Watching movie was a movie called Hawkeye. Parentheses for some, and I don't know why it's parentheses, but it's called Karate Cops somewhere else.
And I think
I thought it was Karate Chops.
No, I think it's Karate
Cops. That makes
sense. Hey, this beer though is kind of a purple for this Black Magic Nitro Stout.
Black Magic Nitro. Actually, this is
perfect.
delicious. Yeah, let's do this.
Gross.
Oh, that's
so much better than this movie.
Hey, I mean, let's talk about it first.
All right, let's talk about what the plot is.
Okay, so first off, this was the most 80s movie you can get, I think.
I mean...
Like, it was there was explosions, there was a little bit of... Not as much boobs as I thought there would be.
No.
Lots of jean jackets. Needless rolling, and lots of guns. And lots of rolling. Lots of weird rolling.
And a more than serviceable Eddie Murphy impression.
Like...
That guy was definitely, like, he got sued at some point. For like
I don't know.
Stealing any
I didn't know. I looked him up afterwards, and there was nothing about that whatsoever.
Yeah, because he's dead. Like, Eddie Murphy killed that guy.
He did a better Eddie Murphy impression than Charlie Murphy.
He did a better Eddie Murphy than, like, later years Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Nash Eddie Murphy. Yeah, he was really good.
Amazing.
All
right, so plot of this movie is...
So first off, it stars... The star of the movie is, what's his name? George Chung, who is also the producer.
Yep.
So that'll give you how this movie's gonna go, guys.
He's also a 3-time karate champion, like world champion. So.
Somewhere, yes.
And he's directed several.
You can talk about how good his karate was.
Directed
several. So it's basically like a self-made Jackie Chan, if you think about it.
All right, synopsis for the movie.
Synopsis: Hawkeye's partner is killed when a Las Vegas drug investigation goes bad. I guess. He is then teamed with Charles, a smooth-talking officer who clashes with his Texas cowboy ways. Together, they hit the dingier back streets of the city to find the murderers, even if they have to bend the rules or chop them. I just added that part.
Or beat a guy up while they're interrogating him.
Yeah.
Just completely beat him up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that was not above board for this movie, I think.
Can we just say right from the beginning, when it's obviously his former partner, I guess, at the beginning of the movie. It makes it seem like he's doing a drug deal. Then he gets murdered. Then you find out he was doing a drug deal for 2 different rival gangs. Yeah. Then you find out, but was it a police investigation? Because there's nothing referenced to that whatsoever.
What kind of investigation? Like, I'm going to get in bed with this gang and this gang and then get
double
crossed.
And then at the end, they finally get it out of his girlfriend that he was just doing it for the money, to make money. Yeah. Because he wanted to fund his screenwriting. This guy was a Renaissance man, Sammy, by the way. I mean...
Yep, he was. You got a lot of notes because you remembered his name. Sammy.
I did. Sammy. I was into this movie because a lot of it did not make sense. All right, so the main character's name is Alexander Hawkimoto, spelled like the bird. Hawkimoto, because that's
this would have worked if his last name was Hakamoto, which is an actual
or even
last name.
Hokimoto, like H-O. Something.
Guys, remember, George Chung also wrote this movie. So, like, you can't blame, like, somebody white for doing this. It was all...
Do you think he had, like, Chuck Norris, in mind? And they're like, there's no way you're going to Chuck Norris. He's like, I'll just do the part. And
he's like, I'll do it.
I'm charismatic.
I'm a Texas cop. And like, yep, it's fine.
I'm charismatic. I can do this.
Music was on point.
Yeah, he also had Eddie Murphy for the sidekick, so I mean...
I said the music was legit great for a Casio 3800.
Saxophone, like some good sax. I mean, it was awesome.
You might be surprised, there was a director of photography and an editor for this movie.
Wow.
The editor's name was Grant Yip.
Okay. That's because they had all of the credits at the beginning of the movie, and we were like, "Is this the end of the movie?
Went, is this over?"
So for the record, one of the reasons I did pick this movie is because it was shorter. We had these movies that seemed like they're forever later. So I was like, 85 minutes, I can do this. Like, I'm not gonna if I don't have to stop and like go cry for a little bit. Like with some of these movies, like just get all the way through it.
This is the guy I want to watch Ad Astra, by the way. So.
Dude, we should watch Ad Astra, please. It is
6 hours of your goddamn life.
Terrible.
Oh my god, no.
I watched half and I was like, what am I fucking watching?
It is so bad. It's worth it though
we'll watch.
to talk about it. It's worth it to talk about it.
So can we talk about how, like, anyone but the 3 or 4, maybe 5 main characters were just the top extras you pull off the lot in all of Hollywood, California.
They're with all of the actors here, you could tell how they like to read their lines off cards.
Yeah.
Like some of them, like the one cop actually had a piece of paper with
no,
the notes in his hand.
No, so there were several times.
It's a dog-eared script, and he's like, "Yeah, it's my report thing I have."
Yeah.
And he's like,
No, and then there was the
I'm not off book.
No, it was yes, the hospital scene. You could see the tape markers on the carpet.
Where the marks were.
Yeah, like.
This was fun.
Then
to me, that shit was fantastic.
There was the dispatch
I was
scene.
like, holy shit.
There's the dispatch scene, and she's reading off of the
Yes.
note. But then she looked up, oh no, I'm not supposed to show that I'm reading my lines.
The dojo scene with the cop guy, and he's like, yeah. So I'm reading definitely something over here.
Yeah. First, I went into the service.
You're a real tough
now
guy.
I can't believe that I'm doing this.
And this scene had no bearing on anything. That guy does not come back.
Can we talk about that scene, though?
Most of the scenes didn't, though.
Can we talk about that scene, though? Because he was like, it's at the temple, which was definitely just an apartment complex,
It was like
on a strip mall.
And he's like, they're doing karate, and they were doing Aikido. They were wearing Aikido outfits and doing Aikido.
Well,
I was like, okay.
Charles also said that he was his dad, he was a black belt in Taekwondo. I was like, nope.
No.
Not Taekwondo at all when you just did that.
No, Taekwondo is like a really cool, it's not Taekwondo, it's Taekwondo.
Taekwondo's how you're supposed to say it, but yeah.
Tech.
So,
that's Sal. Sal, tell us.
So,
he is actually a black belt in Taekwondo.
Can we also talk about that scene, because he gets the call somehow that, the heist is going down, and he's like, oh, can I borrow your car? My ride doesn't get here for another 15 minutes. And he just this guy has a, maxed out, crazy car that he, of course,
also, she's like, he's gonna wreck the car.
I thought he would wreck the car, honestly.
Well, he just, came to, an abrupt stop. And okay.
But also, they're like, the whole Las Vegas police department's out there. It was like, a car.
No. There was no cars at first. And I'm like, then they're like, what took you so long? I'm like, he was the first one there.
Yeah.
And then it was just that one cop and him, and nothing else even in the scene at all. And then it turns there's one police car. I'm like,
no,
what?
And then
I like the sassy black villain and her pimp sidekick.
No, and they're the ones holding up the bank, but they walked outside with
all the hostages. What is your
plan? They're the worst.
They also walked out with hostages, but the guy still got shot. And all the guys got shot, and none of the hostages
Matt, that's because there was rolling. There was rolling. You saw the rolling.
One guy got punched, and
it's like kung fu rolling. There was the one guy, the one cop that came up and got shot immediately, and you're like,
one of the in that when they're both in the store and the store gets held up, one of the criminals that was holding it up was NFL Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott.
There you go.
Why was he in this movie?
Why not?
He's trying to a favor.
Good friend of George Strong.
Good
friend of George Strong.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that guy looks really familiar, and then I saw the credits like Ronnie Lott. I was like, what?
The punching sounds were fantastic, and the fact that it was the same punching sound over and over and over again, no matter what body part you were hitting or who was hitting whom. Also, I loved that his acting was so over the top. Like, he shows up to the one thing where they have to teach kids about being a police officer, and he throws his coffee cup. He's like, I gotta do this dumbass
He's
thing.
Talking about people getting murdered.
Yeah.
His first line is, "Hey kids, hey shut up."
No, but the best part was right before that, the teacher, I'm guessing she's the teacher, looked down at one of the kids and she's like, shut up, you. I'm like, does this director just hate kids?
And then she was completely hitting on him.
That's honestly, was she a teacher? I thought she was just a
she was their teacher. No, she was an older
older
person.
because they were little kids.
No, she was an adult person
with
the kids.
Girl. I was
that's why I was like, oh, and she's just hitting on this guy blatantly.
Is that a real gun?
I literally wrote this scene is fantastic.
So big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also love that, and also George Strong wrote this, by the way.
Yeah.
Every woman hits on him, and every man.
Yeah.
As well.
No, and he references the size of his penis multiple times. The big one. The big one.
Okay, so these two guys are sitting in front of a cocktail sign, which is obviously a gay bar. Cocktails, get it? Funny joke.
Matt, how would you know?
But they're both like this.
But you've missed out on the fact that this joke came up first in a different scene, and then they had to recycle the same terrible joke. So we have to mention the first scene that it came up.
True.
He's at the bar with his partner there. We've jumped so far ahead, but it's fine. And
it's not really a rhyme.
no, and he's like, so what do you do in Texas? And he's like, me and my buddies just drink a beer and we pack shit, which apparently is his term for chewing,
I've never heard
for
this
chewing
term
tobacco. Yeah. He's
pack
like,
shit.
and the guy literally says, "Oh, you don't want to be saying pack shit around some of the guys around here, gay joke." Oh. But then don't you know? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 1980s. We have this is when the Disney would put that. This is a piece of its time.
But then they recycle the same freaking joke. So yeah, he's trying to find a place to
The best part about it is these two guys are like into each other. They're like, when they see him, they both are like, forget about the two guys we're
They're
talking.
promiscuous.
That's what I mean.
I guess it's just like all gay people.
Maybe it's an entanglement.
They wanted to have a new guy for that night.
They're like, we're here to get a throuple going. Threesome.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Here it is. It's Hakamoto.
Yeah.
But he was into the ladies, and they were like, "We don't like you because we're lesbians." That was the best joke.
I knew this movie was going to be when he goes, "Friends call me Hawk, but they also call me something else." Why does he have two goddamn nicknames?
I feel like he gave himself both those nicknames. Though.
He said they call me Hawk, but they also call me Hawkeye. I talk to everyone, including ladies that I'm trying to hit on, as Alexander Hakamoto. That's how he talks to everyone. Like, that's Alexander Hakamoto.
Yeah.
It's Alexander Hakamoto. I'm like, maybe a lady could get a nickname.
Can we also talk about
That's legitimately a good name.
that? I'm pretty sure that Napoleon Dynamite's character, like way of speaking, was based on this character. Hi, this is Alexander Hakamoto, and I know I haven't called you for like a week, but just
what's that actor's name? John Hader with
John Hader.
So do you think there should be a remake with John Hader and Alexander Hakamoto?
Yes, and his name should be Alexander Hakamoto.
Yeah.
I'm Alexander Hakamoto.
So yeah, you meet the poor man's Eddie Murphy, played by...
That guy is not the poor man's Eddie Murphy. He's almost Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
he's like a really good Eddie Murphy.
There's a couple times he went by, I know it's not Eddie Murphy, but...
You could tell when George wrote this script, he was like, I'm going to get Eddie Murphy for this script. And then they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, I'm going to get that guy again that looks like Eddie Murphy and does Eddie Murphy impressions.
He was on the boulevard, flipping a sign.
Hey, the tailpipe. Look at me, I'm Eddie Murphy.
So then that's when you determine that this is basically Beverly Hills Cop, like almost the same exact plot of Beverly Hills Cop, except with an Asian.
Rush Hour too. There's also Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Murphy. Do you think Rush Hour ripped this?
I think so. I think so.
I didn't even think
There's a lot of. This is like the grandfather of all buddy cop movies.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So there's a scene
where Beverly Hills Cop, which came several years before.
There's a scene where Hakamoto makes like a racist joke to Charles, and Charles punches him in the stomach.
Yeah.
And then
this is where first are gonna be partners.
And
Jackson
knocks him out.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
But he gets up a second later. But he also hits him so hard that he does the comical fly backwards.
Yeah, and these guys are just going to be partners.
No, this was the best part, is they were like, they're going to clash. They clashed for about 2 scenes, and then they were
just really
best
that scene.
friends.
Because one was a good cop and one was a bad cop. Which one was the good cop and which was the bad cop?
because they both beat the crap out of that one guy to get information from him.
My favorite part was they do this with his hands, and they throw his hands to his crotch. He goes...
He punched himself in the balls.
This movie was fantastic, and I don't care what you guys say.
In the beginning
of this,
I think if this movie was only 45 minutes long, it would have been the best movie I've ever seen in my life. But it just was I was like,
this got long
so
at the
bad.
end. I was like, all right. Some of these scenes were unnecessary. Like the gay bar scene, totally
unnecessary. Him with his ex-girlfriend, where he's taking his boots off,
showing up in her. First of all, he got into town 2 weeks ago, right? He has not been here very long.
How long has he been in town?
Then he just met that chick,
really.
then left her, then came back to her apartment.
His timeline was so screwed.
But then also when he was calling other girls, he was like, some girl, he was like, I talked to you a week ago. So it's this guy's just a douche nozzle. He was just a complete douchebag.
He was the worst.
Then he's talking about how his girlfriend was murdered by a guy.
Yeah.
And he found her viciously murdered body, but he's like,
no, he goes, my girlfriend disappeared. That's the first thing he said. But then he said she was cut up, and I found her body. I'm like,
well, parts of her maybe disappeared.
Her soul?
Parts of her,
I was like, what?
But he's telling the story like
parts
this.
of her body were missing.
Yeah, my life's been really rough too because I was in love with my girl, but then I got this guy.
No, listen, you're Charles like. What happened to the girl? Did she walk away from you somewhere? What are you doing? Shut up for a second.
I'm an exposition guy.
Second off, why are you just doing did you go get ice cream? No, shut up and listen.
Was there a happy ending?
What is this story about? Why are we doing this? They're making the story longer.
So there's a great scene where
it's like when you talk to a kid.
So Charles is like the healthy cop, right? He doesn't drink and he eats healthy, and he's like, we're gonna go.
The best scene
he's like, we're gonna jog. And the other guy's like dying next to him, like, I'm not really into being athletic. You were just like literally testing for your black belt in karate.
And he had to fight like all these people.
And he did 75 rolls and killed like 5
guys.
But also, then they were being followed.
Yeah, okay. Oh my god!
I wrote this down because I was like, what the fuck is happening?
This was the peak of the movie. This scene right here.
This guy loping
I was laughing so fucking hard.
This guy loping after them in a full suit and
he's like doing flips behind cars.
Yeah.
He like flip behind a car, like not a flip, but like kind of like a white guy roll.
Yeah.
And he's like hiding, but you can still see him plain as day.
So
and he's like running after him in a suit.
I wrote,
and they hide behind a little wall.
There's a middle-aged dude in a suit, like not even like just.
And like, there's better times to follow someone than when they're competitively running.
Yeah.
Like,
but then he's hiding behind the wall. They punch him like 7 to 8 times.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm a reporter. I'm doing a story on the police."
I was like,
doesn't even care that they beat the shit out of him.
there was like no blood in this movie, by the way, and including when the guy gets shot in the beginning. And I just thought it was funny that like they just were socking this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, wah, wah, wah.
Some of the scenes were jarringly cut.
Yeah.
Like they
all
just
of them were dry.
cut to
Matt,
fucking nothing.
The editor's name is Grandier. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked this up.
I don't know.
Grandier.
This is his first movie. I can
No, this is
honestly
also
say,
his last movie. This is also.
I can honestly say he
No,
didn't
it
do this
wasn't.
for.
Oh, Grandier. Okay.
He didn't do this for college.
No.
He did not.
No.
Because
Grandier is actually a dog. I looked this up. He's actually a German Shepherd. Edit this. Like did it with a snout.
he nips sometimes. Watch out.
So I call him Yip. He's yipping all the time.
I also love like. The lines didn't make any sense. So during that backstory scene too, when Charles is telling him about his dad, and he's like, "My dad was a cop in this city for years," and what's his face is like, Hakamoto's like, "Oh yeah, I've never heard of him." It's like, you just established you just fucking moved here from Texas, the place you were just talking about. Like, what?
Who wrote this? Oh, it's you. The star of the movie.
Also,
You wrote this.
I like how they're like, "Hey, you're from Texas." Like, I'm just gonna do my regular accent.
Yeah. And the Charlie Murphy, the Charles guy, Eddie Murphy guy, he also just had like a whatever accent. Like,
what if Charlie Murphy changed his name
he had an
after
Eddie.
seeing this
He had an Eddie Murphy accent. That's what he had.
What if Charlie Murphy is named like Grand Dane Murphy, and he's like, no, I'll be that guy's named Charles Wilson. I'll be Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
He had an exact Eddie Murphy accent. Like his voice was.
Oh yeah.
A voice print for Eddie Murphy.
He literally just didn't.
We had to look up to see if he was a stunt guy for Eddie Murphy.
And he's never been a stunt guy for Eddie Murphy, and he does stunts. He's a stunt man. Why would you not be the stuntman for Eddie Murphy?
He's wearing the exact same outfit, like he was the best cosplay.
You don't like us? Eddie Murphy sued him for doing this movie. He's
I
like,
didn't see that.
That is my license. You can't do that.
Yeah. So the gay bar scene was just the worst.
Yeah.
He's completely socially retarded. Apparently, he's never met gay people before in his life. And it was just so unnecessary and ridiculous. They kept saying pack and shit. Those guys were hitting on him. Then he goes back to his apartment to call up ladies. And also, he calls a lady named Terry. And all I was thinking of this scene was, I hope Terry's one of those dudes from the gay bar.
I would have said never burn this movie again if he would have, after striking out, would have went back to the gay bar.
Yeah.
Like, well.
I think that what really sums up Hakamoto is the line he says, I think like a cop and I live like a cop. And that's it. And then the scene is over. And I was like, what?
The fuck
there was a lot of scenes like that. Like,
okay.
So we get to, there's a scene where one of the lower guys in the Italian mafia has to go to his boss, and he just comes in on him with 2 women in a bed, right? These women definitely don't look like they haven't done all of the drugs in the world. And
One of those
totally,
women, by the way, is supposedly the mayor's daughter. They mentioned that in the
because he's banging the mayor's daughter or whatever. I mean, those could have been just 2 other girls. Women. Like,
no, I'm betting it's the girl with the head side.
Yeah.
I'm like this.
Not the one it was just like.
Okay, this is how bad this movie was. I didn't notice that until you said that. Like,
yeah. I did see her.
I was like, whoa! I was like, yay!
I
just noticed how sad those girls looked like they were on drugs when they did the movie.
I think this is a happy clap. So it's an 80s movie. You gotta have at least one pair of boobs.
They're like, we love this. We're with this guy right here.
Well, that was everyone in this movie. They were just like, we're all actors.
Oh, another movie it reminded me of Lethal Weapon, because there was a lot of Lethal Weapon saxophone in there too. It was very. It was, just one of the greatest movies.
Like, there was research done for this movie for sure.
Oh.
Like somebody thought that they were gonna get. They're like, oh, you know what? I have a great idea for an 80s movie. Here's every 80s trope in this movie.
Pouring the meat. New racist term for rape. I mean, they meant sex, but also rape, because that guy had like stolen that lady and was like punching her, and they're like, yeah, he's gonna pour the meat with her. He's pouring the meat.
He was like gonna punch her with lots of fists.
Yeah, sure.
Either way, it's not a good thing.
Okay, so the scene where they're in the kitchen at her house after she's been stolen, and then the one guy comes in and like beats them up or whatever. He knocks them. Does he hit him
with a gun?
Yeah, he like pistol whips them, and they get knocked out. So they're standing in the kitchen, right? And
also one-on-twos them too. Like he just like boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like wow.
Even though they went to the best place in. Remember, they went to the one guy's place in Las Vegas with all of the best ninjas in Las Vegas and beat the shit out of them, right? This guy who wouldn't take his shoes off at a fucking temple or whatever because he's a dick. But anyway, the best part is he goes, do you want a beer? And he's like, you know I don't drink beer. And he's like, you want some coffee? And he's like, yeah, I'll take some coffee. And he's like, how do you make it?
Know how to make coffee.
Like, how old are you?
He's an idiot.
He was the worst
You asked somebody if they
ever.
wanted coffee. You asked them.
What? Guys, that's why it was funny, okay, man?
It was so dumb. I was like, why did you do that?
That's why it was funny.
Not funny.
Man, you guys don't like kittens, do you?
So
the director didn't like anything, like police procedure, or learning anything about anything, or how houses work, or like how that nice place where the Japanese is supposed to be a nice hotel was like a shitty Motel 6 hallway. Like,
can we talk about my favorite love scene in the movie, which is when the Italian mafia guy and the Japanese mafia guy come together and they're like, we're rivals now, but remember when we used to be such good friends, and I still care about you, and I'd never do you wrong. And then they realized that the same guy was double-crossing both of them, and you could like hear the music in the background.
They
were like, our best friend. Seriously.
My love for you.
Yeah, like
also,
really...
so the Japanese guy was the leader of the Japanese Yakuza.
Yeah.
There was only one other Japanese guy and then a bunch of other
Yeah,
ones.
They had the big guy that wasn't wearing a shirt.
Like, you
most
can
of the
tell
time.
this is Minneapolis.
Yeah, just
like,
carrying a katana around.
Like,
carrying it around.
We cannot find other Japanese for the Yakuza, so we bring this white guy.
Italian dude says, killing's not my style. When the first fucking scene, he shoots a guy in the head. Like,
what?
Yeah, I was confused there. I was like, wait, what?
Killing's not my style, man. Like, yeah, it is, 100%.
They also definitely.
Yeah.
They also definitely got a guy in that scene. That one Hitman was definitely supposed to look like Hans Gruber. Like the whole time, I'm like, he had the big gun, I'm like,
that was the big gun guy.
Yeah, exactly. So then they find her, right, and they're escaping. And they watch them run down, 5 flights of stairs. Just the same shot over and over of them running down these stairs. I was like, how long are we going to do this?
Shoots and hits lady, but he's like, when he shoots, he's like he's like the angriest guy. Like, he had to think of his angriest moment to fire the gun or something.
So, Rebecca, I think her name was, she was killed in the montage. Let's talk about that. Like, I was like, wait, what?
Montage.
Like, the end of this montage is her getting gunned down.
Yeah.
And also, like, thank God it was a montage, because that was long as a montage. Like, it was already a long montage, and you're like, if this had been the full scene, oh boy.
Yeah.
With that scene so badly, like, the audio was so bad, they're just like, oh, just fucking put music over it, and we'll just kill it.
I feel like they had 3 hours worth of footage, and they're like, we can't put all the 3 hours in, let's do a montage. And
do you think there's a director's cut out there somewhere?
Oh my God.
The Snyder cut is out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, that's right, guys. I made my own cut of this. I love karate. I call it Karate Cops because
that's the real name. Everyone knows it. Karate Cops,
in the
guys.
circles I run in.
So then she dies in the hospital, right? And they're leaving the hospital, and apparently the Yakuza attacks them again because they knew they were at this hospital with her.
They had like a tracker on them because they found them every time they were somewhere.
But they're driving at them with both doors open. There's like 3 guys shooting guns at them, and of course one just goes to the ground and starts shooting.
Hakamoto's standing up, then he falls the wrong way.
And
he's
like,
and then Charlie's like behind their open car door like this. Like, it's an old car from the 80s, and he's literally like this.
Hakamoto's prone on the ground, pointing his gun up like this.
He's like supine.
The hardest position to shoot someone in. And I'm not even, I've just played Call of Duty, guys, so I'm not, but You like to go like this and have like to shoot up
like this. Also hard to do that.
Also hard to do that.
No, but then of course after they kill all the guys in that car, their car's perfectly fine, no bullet holes whatsoever. They're both fine. They're not hit. They're fine because they're just
because
the
one
best
was on the ground. He
police
was
officers
supine.
ever.
They couldn't get him down there.
What?
Did anyone else go like this when the white cop goes, "Shut the fuck up, boy"? To
yes.
Was like, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, oh no. Like this movie did not age well. And like it was because those guys, they were like, "Yes, the white guys are racist," and I was like, "Okay," but I was just like, "Oh no, I don't like this."
Well, I mean, there was a ton of fucking chauvinism in this movie too. It's like, give your girl the big one.
But that was fine. That was like
that
was not portrayed bad at all. It was portrayed like the cool thing to do, and I was like, "Okay,
yeah, you got it. If you're chauvinistic, you're cool. That's what it is."
Yeah, obviously. So they kill the guy finally at the end, right? The mafia guy, and they shoot him. He fucking slow-mo died while still shooting his gun.
Yeah, he does it like 3 times.
It is movie. Guys, come on.
All I could think of literally through this whole movie was
But also like he gets killed with the slowest draw. He's like,
yeah.
You think you can do it? And he's like,
yeah.
Boom, and like you could have just shot him like you have an Uzi. Like
There's a lot of
trigger,
weird gun things in this movie. Like there'd be 4 people. 2 people point their guns at somebody, the other 2 people would go, put your guns down, and then those 2 people would put their guns down. Like, you had your guns up first!
No. You were there. Okay.
Like, what happened? Why are you doing this?
This whole movie really made me think of, like, Threat Level, Midnight, Michael Scarn.
It was about that's about as good at acting as, like somebody acting to be a bad actor. You think that was that bad?
So then I love how they get you at the end, because he's turning in the money. They make them give up the money. They both get fired, and they make him give up the money, right? And he turns the money in, and the one guy was already pocketing some himself, and then he's like, here it is, $1,750, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, it was supposed to be millions of dollars.
There was a tiny duffel bag in it, and like and it was mostly air, so you're like, oh, that could be correct.
Yeah, I guess so. Except then you find out they're at the same casino together, and they got all the rest of the money.
This was like a rush hour move right
here. $600,000, which by the way was a great scene.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately was a good scene.
Which they decide to bet. No,
because when you put a bet down, you can't keep moving the money.
Oh my God.
That's why it was funny.
Like,
Come on.
No, it's black. It's not black. No, red. No, black. I'm black. Red. I got it. But
then they got double zeros, guys.
It's
and that's
red or black.
It's green.
So then they lost it. But then they turn around and in their back pockets, more money!
Dirty cops.
So, and this is the best part of this movie, in my opinion. When they turn around, they do the 80s freeze frame. Yeah. But if you notice, for like a second, they pause.
Yeah.
And like they just pause.
Stop.
They turn around and they stop. And you can see this because the actor Hakamoto's butt flexes once, and I was like, what?
Jarring.
Like, yeah, it was jarring. And then it freezes and goes to the credits, and I'm like, okay.
Hakamoto's butt though was great. He was really.
You can tell he's karate champion.
Yeah, karate champion butt right there.
And also, like,
3-time world champion.
Legitimately looked more buff than Chuck Jeffries.
That guy looked good.
He looked good.
No, he still did, but like when in the running scene, he's like, "Oh, I never run." He's got like fucking jacked arms. I'm like,
there's several times he mentions he's not athletic or can't exercise. I'm like, that you're a karate guy.
Yeah.
Like this is dumb. It's a dumb thing to write in.
That's a technical term for them.
That's a dumb thing to write in.
Well, he's also supposedly a cowboy. Like, I love when the gay guys are like, oh, is that lizard? Are your boots lizard? I love lizards.
And also in the karate scene, they're like, oh, so what, your belt? And he's like, my belt just holds up my pants.
Yeah, so, I'm doing it for my dad.
No, because he learned at the YMCA from a white guy named, I forgot his name. But
what?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
He said it 3 times though, so I should have known.
It's like, this is a story note directly from George Chung, okay, guys?
It's like, okay.
I didn't learn this in the East.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd burn this movie. Maybe the racism, it doesn't age well, so maybe that's why we should burn it. I mean, this is definitely one of the better movies we've watched, if we're being honest.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so I was like,
but I really did
like hate this movie.
About
too long.
That's the thing. About halfway through, I'm just like, there were some scenes they could have fucking cut.
They just padded so many scenes. Yeah. They were trying.
And some of them were not
George
good
Chung was trying. He's like, oh, you know what?
Padding was shit.
Like a gay bar scene. It's gonna be funny.
It's like, oh, this couch is comfortable, and they're like, all the cushions are filled with shit. And you're like, oh.
That's also why Crocodile Dundee hasn't aged, because he grabs
also, guys, they set up a
penis.
sequel here. They said, let's go to New York.
Yeah, I know.
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
This felt like a Rush Hour movie. I always went to see Squid and Medicine Gun. That's all Charles needed to say. Because, of course, Charles was the Jackie Chan character. Didn't know that, did you?
They switch it.
But, yeah, I was like... I was glad it was over, but I also... I was legitimately laughed hard in a couple places in the movie. Maybe not for the right reason, but...
Nope, never for the right reason.
How ridiculous it was, definitely.
It
none
made
of
me
the
react,
comedy landed.
And it was one of those movies I just kept watching.
I enjoyed fake Eddie Murphy. He was really fake and really Eddie Murphy. I was like, holy shit, man.
You guys... Watch Hawkeye. It's free on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are some,
especially if you like Asian racism.
Yeah, noted there is racism in this movie.
Homophobia
for certain.
A ton of sexism.
So the bar called Cocktails.
So if you're triggered by that, you don't want to watch it. But the movie is fucking great. If you like that.
We're not promoting
Incredible.
homophobia, sexism, or racism. We're just saying.
Well, I'll some credits go on.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Everyone except Matt.
Can you have the credits go first, though, and black out the whole screen for 10 minutes? That would be the way...
we have to freeze them first, and then one of our butt cheeks will
This movie's credits in the beginning were unnervingly... I almost... that... If anything made me quit the movie, it would have been... I was like, why are we doing... I'm like...
Dude, you just watched Zardoz. Come on.
Yeah, which didn't have 10 minutes of fucking black...
No, it had fucking monologue, man, and then...
He had to tell you a story, Mike, okay?
And then the penis shoots the seeds.
Guns are good.
I mean,
what the fuck, Zardoz?
Hey, guys. Don't burn this, okay? Don't burn it.
Yeah, watch it.
Unless you're really
it's terrible, watch it.
Unless you think 80 things don't age well, then maybe burn it. But thanks for being here, guys.
Beefy white guy Yakuza.
Yeah. With a katana. Shirtless.